Okay, oh, turn on my screen. So we'll start today. Be sure that you open the web, so your class, Interactive Web 2. And the document that we need is still located in January 27 through February 2. So again, this is a multi-week project. And go ahead and open that. So that's the Responsive Web Design 2. And that's here. Also open in your folder. So I'm at Windows Explorer here. And I'm going to open inside my html5, my index document. So again, we'll open it in the web in a little bit here, but to open it in Notepad, again, you need to just click on it, right mouse click on it, and open with, and then Notepad. And I made the text kind of big here. Kind of big there. So last time, and we added, again, I won't review everything, but we changed the heading 1 to the 5 viewport width. The other thing we did is we added our navigation. So we added the navigation to index, to hobbies, resume, and then the most important part was we added a drop-down menu, which doesn't show yet because we're still in the middle of our cascading style sheets. But we added a drop-down menu to activities, and the two that will drop down are your choice, whatever they are. Volunteer activities you may do, and I've got a couple of them. Again, we've got classes, so drop button is going to assign a class that hides, so there's going to be content within. The content within will be hidden until we mouse over it. When we hover over it, it's going to drop down. It'll display in a block format, block being vertical versus inline block, which is the horizontal. And we're, styling it, colors and all that good stuff. The different part here is that activities is within a larger list item. And again, you want to open your list item. We're not closing our list item until we add a division of space for our two drop-down elements. So it's all here. I'll go back over that here in just a minute. The other thing we did too is we floated the contact nav element to the right so that it's separated off a little bit. So our initial unordered list was 5 pages, which we started there. The cascading style sheet, and I've explained here what this cascading style sheet will do. We started quite a ways into the cascading style sheet, and I'll go ahead and open mine here. So again, we called it responsive _menu _styles. And again, the same thing, I can open it with Notepad. We've got the UTF-8, so that's the character set, commented out that it's a cascading style sheet document. At a media screen size, the maximum width of 488 pixels, which will be like a phone size, we're redefining the tag unordered list item is not going to float, and it will display in block format. So that will apply later as we get into the phone size and finish this up. The unordered list, remember, the list style type, which is the bullet, is none. We've got a margin and a padding of nothing. The overflow is hidden. The background color is that charcoal. Remember, it was really difficult to see there for a minute until we changed the text color. We're telling the list items to float left of one another. So when you put it in an inline block format, they have to float left of one another to display correctly. We also place, just to visually separate them, each list item has a little border, a 1 pixel solid, I think it's a light gray tone. Although the last nav element, which is the last child element, the border's none. So again, we're floating to the right contact and no need to have that ending border appearance. The list item for the anchor, and we did do that, so here we go. I'm going down there. So the list item for the anchor, so drop button, let me go back to our index. So that is going to affect the volunteer activities nav element itself. And that's going to display inline block with a white color. So all of our anchors, the text align will be center. We've got padding around it and text decoration of none. And that's applying to the list item anchors, all of the list item anchors. It's also displaying to what we're calling a class drop button. Okay, so the comma space indicates it's going to apply to tags, list item anchor, as well as the class drop button. Okay, and we added the hover color. Again, I did something that's quite different in color just so you can see it. You'll change these as you go as far as what you like the look of. So the list item for the anchors, when I hover over it, the drop down, the class that we assigned, the drop down when I hover over it, as well as the drop button is going to have this background color. So that's just when I mouse over it of red, and it's a pretty bright red. My list item drop down should display inline block. And then we stopped, so I'll keep going here. The drop down content. So far, we're displaying none. The position is absolute. We've got a background color, the width, the shadow, the z-index. We can't see it yet, is what's going on. So we need to add a little bit more. We kind of ran out of time. So we want to be at the end, should be if your items are in the same order as mine. We want to be at the end of the drop down. So class, drop down hyphen content after the right curly bracket and then enter key. And again, we can copy it. I hate to have you copy and paste too much because you do need to understand what you're entering and why you're entering it. So that's why we're going one by one and fairly slowly here. So this drop down content is going to apply to the anchor. Okay, so those are the anchors, the links that are when we click, say, volunteer 1. Okay, so we can go ahead and again highlight that to copy it. So the color is going to be black. There will be some padding, no text decoration. Again, it's going to display in block format, and text will be aligned to the left. So we'll copy that and move that over again if you want space in between, and file, save. So let's go back to index, and nothing is displaying quite yet. So again, we've got the mouse over and back to index and opening that one. Okay, the drop-down content anchor hover, so we'll have a background color. The drop-down hover, we want it to display in block format. We may need to copy. We're almost at the end here, so we'll finish copying the rest of them. And that one should display when we hover. That should display our drop-down content. Current, I'll explain that one. I think we looked at current. It was assigned to index in another example, so I'll talk about that one here in just a minute. Okay, so we'll finish just with the drop-down content anchor hover, drop-down hover, drop-down content, and current. So I'll highlight the last 3 there, and then copy that. And again, back, paste, and save. And then refresh, and hopefully it works, which it does. So back to the cascading style sheet. The drop-down content A, the text color is black, so it looks a little bit different. Text color is black. There's, again, padding around it. Remember, we added just to create some space. You can change the padding if you don't like it, if you think it's too much. We don't want a bullet, so that's that, or an underline. The list style type would be the bullet. The text decoration is the underline. We don't want that, so we told it, nope, don't display that. Display block is vertical, so that's going to be a straight down, the two that we see there. And then rather than center aligning the text within my drop down, I decided to left align it. But if you like center align better, you can change that to center. The hover color, so in my drop down content A hover, the F1, so that's that little bit of slight shade of gray. My drop-down hover, drop-down content is displaying block. Again, that's that vertical format, and current we'll get to in just a second. Okay, did that work okay? Once you get that to work, that's really good, because then we can copy that and paste it everywhere. But I'd like you to understand, in case you run into problems, you start adding more list items and you put them in the wrong place and they don't drop down. What if I want to change the colors? What if I want it to be center aligned? What if it needs to be larger? So Missoula College Faculty Association is actually quite large. I think I had, was it 140? No, 160 maybe characters. So I kind of lucked out on that, honestly. I could have had more text and it would have tried to wrap around, which wouldn't look very good. And then, you know, if that's the case, if you're worried about space, do I change my language so that I, you know, maybe Missoula College and then faculty, I could abbreviate association, ASSOC, something like that. That would work too. Okay. So current, and we can't, I mean, the only thing we can click on here is hobbies, and my nav element is not even there yet because I've not copied and pasted. In fact, let's copy and paste this. There's nothing here, like home is not highlighted. There's nothing that tells me right now where I'm at other than, well, and I don't even have a welcome to Cheryl's page. I have my name quite large, but nothing really descriptive to help my viewer out. Okay, so, and we'll put current here, I guess. So let's go back to our index page. And this is where I had, and I think we took it out. Oh, that's the cascading style sheet. Information. That was, oh, it was down here. Yeah. I think we copied and pasted from this earlier. You may have left yours in. I took mine out. So the first list item is going to apply a class called current, and my current class has a color of white and a background color of, I can't remember what that is, so we'll find out. And then again, you can change it. But to apply that, I need to be in my index document and at my home page, because that's where I currently am. So I'm on index now. I want to click inside my list item. So you want to be, again, on the index line there inside my list item. And I'll space and then just apply my class. So class equals, and then within my quotes, again, I don't need, the period identifies it as a class, but I don't have to add the period again there. So then just current, and then end my quote. So that's all I added to the index nav element or list item element. Save it and come back here, refresh, and it turns so it's kind of a orangey color, sort of a tone of a complementary color to blue. Blue and orange go together. And again, you can change those. Okay, does that make sense? So where we're at now, and we've gotten through, let me make sure we, okay. I want to didn't miss anything there. We did that. So we haven't added the footer. So we'll do this here in just a minute too. At this point, let's go ahead and create some of our other pages. So I want to make sure that I can, get to my other pages. I'd like to copy and paste my nav bar, make sure that I can, my nav elements link and work correctly when I copy and paste it into my hobbies page. So the area that we need, everything will be exactly the same except this will change. But the area that we need to copy is the whole entire unordered list through the close of the unordered list. So I can highlight that whole thing and copy that, Control C, and then open up your hobbies page in Notepad. Make that a little bit bigger. And then I just want to find where I'd like to put it. So I want to be consistent. And in my index page, so my links, nav elements are going to be directly after the email address. So I probably want to be consistent with that. So again, in my hobbies page, I find where my there we go, my end of my email, and enter there, create my space, then just paste. Save that. So if I'm in my index page, hopefully when I click hobbies, okay, so why didn't that apply? Let's go back and look at, okay, hobbies. So my unordered list looks okay. That's the same, but what does this need to look good? This references, so where is drop-down class located? Where is drop-down content? Where is my little drop button? Where did we put current? What file is that? It's in my responsive cascading style sheet, and here in my head content here within style, I've not told it to go locate that external style sheet. Okay, so we can copy and paste that too because you did that the other day. So back to index, we'll tell it we want the link, that's the hyperlink, so it's an external file, external style sheet. The link to the hyperlink reference equal to responsive menu styles. You could call it anything. We happen to call it that. It's a style sheet, cascading style sheet text type. We can go ahead and highlight that. Control C. And actually, if you want to copy, remember the viewport, we might as well copy that as well. I think, we didn't change we've got a lot to copy and paste. So my hobbies didn't get, remember we opened up index, we changed it to html5, all that good stuff. So we didn't come back and do that. I'd forgotten about that. So we probably can do quite a bit of copying and pasting here to save yourself some time. So we need to grab the doc type for html5, the opening HTML, the head content. We're replacing the old Western European with UTF-8. Our title is different, so let's leave that, and we don't have to retype that. So we'll just borrow that part. So we've got 4 lines, top 4 lines from index, Control C, and we can replace with everything through the root element, so we don't need the root element anymore. Control V that, so we've got our HTML5 doc type, the start. We've got 2 opening head tags there. We don't need both opening head tags, so let's go ahead and get rid of one of those. And we can, let's see. So the viewport, we can grab the style sheet, we can grab. So again, we'll get rid of that. And don't need the Western European character set because we've got UTF-8. And back to index. So we need the title's good. We've got that. The viewport, again, that was where we told the content to size to the device, whatever device you're viewing at. And I think just through, so we'll check our internal style against index as well, but I think most of that was similar. So we'll just grab the viewport and the link to the external cascading style sheet to copy that. And I may do it after, it doesn't matter, but just so that I have a similar, if I'm trying to proofread and I'm trying to locate a problem, I might want it to be in a similar place. And again, it doesn't matter as long as you're within the head content, it really doesn't matter. It's more or less, it's my proofreading. If I've got a problem, I probably want them to be similar. Okay, and again, mine wrap because my text is so large. That's the only reason that they're wrapping. So yours may not wrap. And then just proofreading our style sheet. So this was the same, should be page to page the same. And if you don't like 75%, you can change that, but we left it at that for now. We've got our left and right margin set to auto. Again, that centers that grid container within our window and at the width of 75%. We added our thin, solid black border, added a little bit of padding. Again, you can edit that if you think you'd like more space. My background color is set to white. If you don't like that, you can change it. My body background here, so the body is the entire document. That's everything from beginning of body to end of body. This could be set to a picture, so it could be a background image. Some students like to have a texture. It could relate to content on your website. It could be an example of something if you sell a product. Again, you have sometimes limited background space. It depends on what you want that field space to look like. But it can be, doesn't have to be a color. It can be white. It can be an image. And then the other thing that we did too is we set our images to be a max width of 100%. And that's a redefine of a tag. And I don't have that in my hobbies. So let's go ahead and copy and paste that. So that was image setting the maximum width to 100%. And again, I've got my left and right curly brackets I'm copying. And I'll go ahead and put it after body. Again, it doesn't really matter. What does matter is that it has to be inside the close of the style. And then I'll save that. Then, if I come back, the text decoration of underline should be gone away or removed. The list style type of bullet, it should be placed in an inline block. We have one tiny little drop down that displays in vertical block format. So all that, our colors should come back. But the problem now, I'm on the hobbies page, and it's telling me I'm on the home page. It's visually telling me that. Okay, so what we need to do here is on hobbies. So I need to remove the class from my index nav element, which is a list item, and place it on my hobbies list item. Okay, so I can just simply cut it. And again, I'm on hobbies. Make sure you're there. And I need the space all the way through the quote. And I can Control X to get rid of that. Move to my hobbies. Again, you just want to make sure where you're at. Control V to paste. So I pasted my space and my class. I can save it again. Come back over, refresh it, and now I visually know I'm on the recreational hobbies page. Okay, it doesn't look great right now, so it's okay as far as if I'm in tablet size, I think it looks okay. Contact goes way to the right. And if I'm on a smaller window, my drop-down doesn't interfere with really anything else. So again, if I didn't block this down into just text, my viewer probably can navigate. Is it the best looking right now? Maybe not, but there's nothing that's in the way at this point. Okay. So what we don't have created, we've only got 2 pages created. Resume is not created, volunteer is not created, contact isn't created, nor is my 2 volunteer pages. I don't think we did that the other day, did we? No. Okay. So those can be created. You can come back to Notepad if you want to. And actually what we probably want to do, not to that one. Let's go to index. It probably would be helpful to do a bunch of copying and pasting again, and then do some file save as's so that we have at least kind of the basics there. So go back to index. I'll wait till you get to that point. And I think you want to make sure that, you know, go to the page that's the most accurate, I guess, at this point. So again, we've got our html5, beginning of our head content, the newer character set, UTF-8, some sort of a title. The viewport is in there. We're linking to our responsive style sheet, responsive design style sheet, cascading style sheet. We've got, so this is an external. We're using all sorts of styles, just so you get an example of what each are. External cascading style sheet. This is all the way in here. Internal cascading style sheets. And we even have internal inline cascading style sheet. So those are the different types of styles that exist. External being the one most preferred. It's most consistent. Okay, so I think we can copy and paste. Let's go all the way through. Most likely your email address, your nav element, probably let's get to the grid container, probably to that area, and then we'll come back and we'll do a little bit more copying and pasting, but that gives us quite a bit there that we shouldn't have to try to recreate. So again, all the way down through the beginning of your class grid container. So then copy that, Control C, and let's go ahead and open up another notepad and paste that. And all these are going to be the same, but we'll just keep doing a file save as. So I've got kind of a, what I'll call a shell. It's kind of, this will belong on almost all pages. I may want to add a heading of some sort, maybe a couple of words for paragraph content. I don't, so the horizontal rule is after that, which we did take, so I don't think we need that. So I might just Control C to take a little bit of content there. Paste, and then I'm going to end my P tag. So that's just, I've got a paragraph. You know, this is just kind of a garbage paragraph. That's all it is. Then we know we have to end. Well, we don't need anything really at the bottom. Probably your images, you know, whatever images you decide to place here, you can, you know, copy and paste the format and then fill in the image later. But we definitely need to close our division of space, close our body, and close our HTML. So we'll go ahead and highlight the div body HTML closes, Control C, and move to our blank page at this point, Control V. So this will be kind of a shell of what everything should look like. Okay. So again, we've got beginning HTML5 document, the character set, the title, everything within our head content, the viewport width, link to our external style sheet, internal styles, a large close of heading, beginning of body, large text. You can change the text. We've got the same class identification. We've got the same nav element. If you like the horizontal rule of fine, we've got our div container opening and closing, a larger heading, a paragraph closing the two. So that's going to be similar and consistent page to page. Okay, so I know that one's called resume. So I'm going to go ahead and do a file save as. We all have a resume, right? So make sure you're in your html5, so the folder that we need to be in, and resume.html. So it'll be consistent with, remember, the navigation that goes to that page. It was all lowercase, so just resume, period, HTML. Save that. And when I come here, there's my resume, so that's good. I know, in case you need to go back and look at what you called things, we know we have a contact, we know we have an activities, and then you created a couple of other pages, so if you need to reference those, please do. I'm going to come back to my resume, and I can go back, file, save as, and I know I have a contact one, so contact.html. Save that. I have another one called activities. Be sure you spell that correctly, activities, because otherwise it won't go. And then my other two, so again, each of you had whatever your volunteer links were. So go ahead and save those. If you had, and I would do again all lowercase, and if you've got a 2-word type of volunteer activity, I would put an underscore or a hyphen, if that makes more sense to you. So everybody will have 2 different pages. Then when we come back here, so I should be able to go to home, and I get to home. I should be able to go to recreational activity or hobbies, get there. I should be able to go to resume. There's not much there, but I'm there. I can tell, so if I go to my address bar on the browser, I can tell I'm at resume, so you want to double check that. And I can go to volunteer activities. I do go to volunteer activities. So there will be, when you have child pages, you want to have content on the activities page. So it shouldn't just be a blank page with drop downs. Otherwise, there'd be no reason to have activities page. You just have, 6 pages, for example. Or so anyway, I should be able to try my 2 drop downs. And again, I should go to the MCFA. My other drop down was Faculty Senate, and I go there. But, we're going to have to change, other than recreational hobbies, we're going to have to change current for at least the main resume, volunteer, and contact. And let's see, so I may not worry too much about these right now, so I may want to just go to open. I'll change my main ones, so I want to change activities and current. So again, I can just copy and paste. And activities class, I should be able to put it here. I'll try it. And we'll call up resume. And find mine. Again, I'm removing it. Oh, I need to remove it from the other place. So Control X to remove it from there. Control V for resume. So here, no, it wasn't that one. Which one was it? It was activities, that one. So I need to remove from activities. I do have to remove it from home. So it's only in one place. And what else do I have? Contact. So I'll remove it, Control X, and I'm in contact, so it needs to go to the list item contact. And I think that was all of them. So home should be home, recreational is there, resume is there, volunteer is there, and contact is there. We don't really see those other two, so I'm not going to worry about the other drop downs. Do I need to stop a little bit, catching up, display a certain page? Any? Yours is a little messed up. Okay. And let me see where we are in the class. How many are good to go right now? No. So is almost everybody in a little bit of a kind of a stopping point where they need to fix things? Okay. I may just go ahead and stop today then and individually help.